Welcome back. This is an exciting episode. I love entrepreneurship and I've had a goal of being a seven-figure earner for a long time. So in this episode, Devin's going to pick my brain and talk about how I built a seven-figure business.
So I'm here with Nate today. Nate and I have been friends for about 12 years or something like that. And I've kind of watched from afar as he's built this business. And it's been really exciting to see the growth that's happened and for him to now have a seven-figure business. I mean, that's a huge achievement and a huge benchmark. So I just wanted to talk to him today about how he built this business. So Nate, just kind of from a bird's eye view overview, how did you begin building this business? When did you launch? Did you have help along the way?
So it all started with an idea. I was doing telemarketing for a web design company. And I just had an idea like, you know what, I think I can do this on my own. And I advertised locally in the classifieds, found two people, designed websites for them. It's just a $500 website design. And they were happy. So I quit my job and decided to go full time. And like looking back, I think when I averaged it out in the previous month, I had made like $350. And somehow I had the confidence that I can quit my job and go full time with this. But I did. And then you asked, did I have help? Like I had no graphic design training or anything like that. I figured out Photoshop and I had an eye for design, but very quickly knew, okay, I need to hire some help. And so I had recently learned how to hire people in the Philippines. And so right off the bat, I looked for some graphic designers that can design websites. In fact, somebody that I found within that first month of quitting my job is still with me today.
Wow, that's incredible. And so that early on, you decided I'm going to go ahead and hire somebody. So you went from an employee to being an employer in the stretch of about 30 days.
Yeah, no, I had been studying entrepreneurship for probably 8 years at that point, maybe 7 years at that point. I listened to an audiobook that a friend gave me. I think it was like two books in one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant. And so I learned that there was a difference between being self-employed and a business owner. And I loved that idea. I loved the idea of kind of working on your business instead of in. And so, you know, I by no means was an expert at it, but that's what I was trying to implement. And I wanted somebody that had more expertise than me.
So you mentioned earlier that you put ads out in the classifieds, you know, to find your first clients. So did you continue to do that? How did you?
I smile because this was genius. So I found out that on Craigslist, you could post a listing every single day or something like that in one local area, like one county typically. Well, I found out like if I set up two Craigslist accounts, I can post in Utah County and I can post in Salt Lake County. But then I found like when you start doing that, Craigslist monitors phone numbers. Like what phone number did you use to set up your account? You can't use one phone number for multiple counties. And I found out that it would check your IP address. And if you're logging into this account from one IP address, you're logging into another account from this IP. So long story short, I hired somebody in the Philippines to run all this for me, but I rented like hundreds of phone numbers and I paid for all these proxy IP addresses. And so my assistant in the Philippines would have a full-time job posting to 400 different locations on Craigslist, just posting these ads for websites. And that worked for about a year and a half until Craigslist kind of shut that down.
So then it's back to the drawing board. You got to get more clients somehow. So you get shut down by Craigslist, but prior to that, I mean, you mentioned that you've hired somebody in the Philippines, and they're running this whole thing, this whole system behind this lead generation that you're doing. So talk about systems. Have you always had a propensity of creating systems and being able to implement those in your business and then assign those out to your employees?
Well, I can attribute this to another audiobook as well, Michael Gerber, The E-Myth, The E-Myth Revisited.
Sure.
So listening to that, and I've listened to it many times over the years, I'm probably due for another listen of that one. I really followed that and tried to follow it as close as I could. So when I hired this web designer, I had 4 steps. I had created, okay, first we find examples of websites that we want our website to look like. Then we create that theme. Then we apply that theme to either the WordPress or the Joomla site, and then we add all the content. So I hired this designer to really take over that design step. All I expect you to do is take the input that I give you and create that template. So I was still doing a lot of the work, but what was a relief, what I thought maybe would take him several months to be able to handle all of those, within like a week or a couple of weeks, he was able to handle all 4 steps.
Wow. And
so a client would just tell him, this is what I want my website to look like, and everything happened. And I'm just like, man, this systems things really works. Because of that system, I felt like I could really scale it. And so that's why I was able to really expand and felt like I could advertise to any county that I wanted to on Craigslist and take it. At one point, I think we were taking on about 25 new websites a month.
Wow. So at what point, because we're talking about websites and, everybody knows you today as a YouTube producer. So at some point there was a big shift. So how did you get from I'm doing websites to I'm doing YouTube?
So the websites were beautiful. Okay. My clients loved them. They said, oh, my website is so beautiful. I love it when my mom comes and tells me how beautiful my website is. So I love results. And so the first shift I made is, okay, now you have a beautiful website. How do we get people to visit your website?
Yeah, besides your mom.
Right? Yeah, so I created a search engine optimization service. And so that worked, and I systematized that. So now we had beautiful websites that were getting views. Now there are a lot of views, but there weren't a lot of sales happening. So I started to create promo videos. I would film promo videos for my clients, so when people went there, there was actually a compelling sales message there. And so these are kind of the evolution of it. But then I noticed something, and let me give you a little bit more detail about the SEO service.
Yeah.
So we would take a page on their website, and we'd get it to rank number 1 on Google. We did a lot of work. First, we'd create a how-to video, and we'd put it on the page. We would transcribe the video and put all the text below. We'd make it look really nice. We would create infographics about that topic and put it on Pinterest and link it to the page. We would write articles on the topic and even spin the articles into different forms and broadcast them out, blog commenting and link wheels that all linked back to build the authority for this page. We'd put in the right keyword tags, lots of SEO stuff. And it worked, okay? So all this work, and we got the page ranking number 1 on Google. Then I noticed something, and this is going back about 7-8 years ago. I noticed that just one piece of this page, the how-to video, over on YouTube, because that's where we hosted the video, YouTube, that video was getting 50 times more views than this entire web page that was ranked number 1 on Google. And that just boggled my mind. I'm like, this is ranked number 1 on Google, and I'm getting 50 times more views just on the video over on YouTube. And so the light went off in my head. I love efficiency. I love efficiency. And so I just kind of shifted my focus. Like, what if all we did was make YouTube videos like this? And so that's why I teach today that, website SEO is dead. I've taught for a long time that website SEO is dead. I think it's even more true today. But you can create a piece of content and get way more views on it and build a relationship with it. And then when they're ready to buy or they want your help or services, that's when they go to their website and sign up.
What mistakes have you made along the way?
It's interesting. Like right now, I'm sure I could come up with specific mistakes. It's not like I love making mistakes in the moment, but I'm not afraid of taking a chance knowing that something can fail. Because I've failed at a lot of things, but I learned from it, right? It's like, it almost sounds kind of cliche, like a mistake isn't a mistake unless you don't learn from it. Mm-hmm. And that I feel like I've really applied that over and over and over in the business. And, have I made mistakes? Yeah, that's why for 8.5 years I was on a financial roller coaster. Mm. And so I've made a ton of mistakes. I mean, I've offended people. I've had people buy the domain NateWoodburySucks.com. And so I offended a client, and I was just impatient. I mean, it's hard for me to point at a mistake because, this is all new territory for me. Everything that I've built in my business, I've never done before, and I wasn't taught how to do it. So I kind of made tons of mistakes along the way. In building a team, I had never been a boss before, and so I made a lot of mistakes. And sometimes before I met my team in the Philippines, for example, I kind of looked at them as robots until I met them in person. And like, oh, these are actually real people. Like it's weird that I know I've made tons of mistakes, and I can think of plenty of like personal flaws that I have, but I look at a business as like, that's what business is it's all a whole bunch of mistakes with a little bit of successes, and you just build on those successes. And for me, it took 8.5 years to finally like get to a point where I could say, wow, I've actually got a successful business here.
What's your favorite thing about what you do now? Like that thing that keeps getting you out of bed every morning? Like, oh my gosh, this is why I started this.
So my business has evolved in services, as we've talked about, but it's also evolved in the type of clients that I work with. So back in my day of web design and SEO, I actually ranked number one. My website ranked number one on Google for dentist website design, as well as accountant website design. And if you're a dentist, you're an accountant, you're awesome. I love you, but I don't like working with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually just had to delete those pages on my website and take them down. It was dentists. Their credit cards don't bounce. Like, they were actually really good clients, but it just wasn't my I wasn't passionate about helping them grow their business, about helping them drill more teeth. So when I discovered this video strategy working better than the website strategy, I had all these dentists as clients. And so I went to the dentist and said, you should make videos teaching people about, oral health care and brushing your teeth and stuff. And, I got a few dentists to film some episodes, but never really build a whole channel and want to dominate YouTube. Another thing that I discovered is I would be on the phone with some clients and 5 minutes would pass and I'd be like, when is this call going to end? This is dreadful. But then there were other clients, I'd be on the phone, an hour would pass and I would just be helping them, giving advice, and just felt like in the zone. And I didn't know what the difference was until, after thinking about it and realizing all the clients that I love to work with were influencers. So coaches, speakers, mentors, they wanted to put themselves out there. They're influencing the world for good. So kind of a long way of answering your question, what gets me excited? Why do I, love what I do now? And it's because I love making an impact in the world, and I love the power of influence. So I love influencing others for good. So when I can help my clients really succeed and see their businesses transform, it lights me up. And the fact that they're doing a lot of good, they're influencing the world for good, it just builds on top of it.
Has your life changed since you built a 7-figure business?
I think looking back over the years, even in the beginning, I knew my strategy had merit, but I couldn't sell it. I couldn't sell it at cost. And so I had to take that first step of partnering with Chris Crone. That was the first channel that we used this strategy. And the plan was, we're going to share future profits. I'm going to produce this channel for free. And we did, and it worked. And I got that track record of success because it worked really well. And I did that a similar way with a second channel. And then when now I had 2 channels, we followed my exact formula that I've been teaching for years. Look at this, it worked. Not only could I sell my services at cost, but I could make profit. And really that's been the biggest difference is breaking even. I thought that was profitable. I really thought that as long as my bills are covered, that I have a profitable business. But to charge more than my costs and to it was just a whole new experience, and realizing, that's what business is supposed to look like. That's what profit is. And so it's taken a big weight off of my shoulders. It allows me to really step back and think, okay, now I'm not doing this because I have to. What do I want to continue doing? What roles do I need to hire people for so I don't have to do these tasks? And I'm really able to have the freedom to keep doing this stuff that I love.
Well, it's a huge accomplishment, Nate, and I mean this sincerely. It couldn't happen to a better person. And I've said this to many people. But the thing that I respect about you, and I think why you've been able to be so successful in business, is that you have integrity, and you care so much about your name and about the service. You have faith in it, but you're not willing to compromise that and to just say, oh yeah, I'll produce anybody's channel. Just sign on the dotted line. Give me the checks, because you really care about that influence, like you were saying, about improving the world and getting the message that your clients have out there to more people, so that they can influence the world for good. So I think it's really, really great what's happened, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the next 5 years or so.
Cool, man.
If you want to know what it looks like to work with Nate, I'll put my email below in the description. Feel free, reach out, email me, and we'll get on a call, get on a 3-way call with Nate, and see if it makes sense for you to work with us.
To have the freedom to keep doing this stuff that I love.
Well, good for you. I mean, for...
Good for you. We're all over here.
No.